So you can't. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Don't Panic. We are having testicle difficulties here because you can't hear us. Right?
I can't hear anybody, but Israel always does this to me on purpose. So it's like
I can hear you really
he's like,
well.
sit here.
Neither can the testicles. They can't hear anything either.
We have lots.
Okay, good.
Okay, we have lots of things to talk about, and it's all going to be based upon our real life apocalypse going on with our government and also with my latest film that has to do with a zombie apocalypse. So I just thought that it would be fun to have an entire show where we're just going to be talking about the apocalypse in general. And we also have an exclusive clip from my upcoming film called Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus. Yeah. And now I don't know if you've realized it or not, but we look amazing because of certain lighting that someone brought over.
I know. I want her to come all the time. I want her to be.
I know.
Like,
Look at that look she's giving
So
us.
before we move on, I'm going to have all of my guests introduce themselves and what they do.
I'm Chaselyn Wade. I'm a professional makeup and hair artist and obviously lighting technician.
Newly acquired now.
Newly acquired.
Yes.
I'm Glenn Franklin. I'm a local filmmaker, and I'm a massage therapist, and I work at Lifetime Hearing.
Do you give happy endings?
No.
Well, I was about to give you my money. Never mind.
Damn.
I'm Brandy Amar Sky. I'm a writer, and I write for the Dallas Voice online. I'm a drag artist, and I do lots of things with Israel Luna, including this show.
Ooh, lots of things.
Lots of things with Israel, including this show.
Oh,
Like-
yes, that's true. Next month.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Lots of good things coming. Ha. We all turn into fifth graders when we're on this show. So for those of you watching, on Facebook, we encourage you to ask any questions or comment on the comment section because I know that we talk about different types of things, and some of you agree, some of you disagree, and some of you agree with what certain panelists are saying up here. So we encourage you to just comment on there, and if we see them soon enough during break, then we will comment on those and tell you you're crazy, or we agree with you as well. Now,
I agree.
You suck.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right?
So I want to get started by, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to bring this up, but the whole
God.
pissing contest between the Trump administration and North Korea, because pretty much, and I'm in layman's terms, which is going to for you dumb people,
Yeah.
or for you people who aren't necessarily political, but just kind of want to know what's going on, is North Korea, Kim Jong-un. He has been testing these missiles, and they've been going pretty far, but they've been going kind of at first straight up in the air and then coming down. And then what he's pretty much saying to the U.S. is, hey, if I just kind of strategically did a little Angry Birds kind of thing like this, it could reach the United States. And now Trump, of course, is responding with, well, we have missiles that if we see it going in the air, we're going to shoot ours, and it finds it in the air and it shoots it, like Star Wars.
Right.
And so now he's like, oh, really? Well, I'm going to test another missile that's going to go even further. Oh, guess what? This one might reach over here to the United States. And now Trump is throwing out these big words saying, oh, we'll try it because
Fire and fury.
Fire and Fury.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it sounds very much like their rhetoric. If you really hear what they say to us, it's like he's almost throwing it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he necessarily knows how to speak any other way. Like he's a
Right.
mimic. Like he mimics basically what other
yeah.
people say,
Right.
Well, the thing right now that he's playing with, Kim Jong-un is trying to shoot the missiles over at Guam, which is a territory where we have a bunch of bases. It could devastate that land over there, but
And now they're saying that his words could have been less harsh, and then Trump himself is saying, no, I was soft. I need to go even
Needs to be
harder.
more harsh, yeah.
What do you think should have been his response? How should he have responded to this?
Well, I mean, he's acting like he does any other time. He's just saying what he thinks, and he's not taking consideration the larger ramifications that are at hand.
Does he care? I mean, because we might go to war. I mean,
I really don't think he cares.
yeah.
Well, because no matter what, we'll win.
In his mind, yeah.
in
We
his
will
mind.
win.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
But
a
all
lot
it
of
takes
loss.
is one bomb to go
Yeah.
off. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it still affects the
Yeah.
world. I mean, so diplomacy should be what we should be going after, rather than going to blow up the place.
And I just think that when you have those two like really hardcore male egos going at it, like neither one of them is going to back down.
They're kind of the same, right?
Literally, they're basically facing, the same mirror. They're facing each other.
They're both delusional,
and they're both, and it's just going to keep escalating until one person, calls chicken, calls the bluff, and the whole world's going to fucking blow up.
Well, let's just face it. It's the small junk war. I mean, like both of them. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's like
Seriously.
they're insecurity with certain things, so they have to like be super macho.
Yeah.
And I really do think you're right, Brandy, where they're kind of the same person in a lot of ways. And what they're doing is they're looking at each other and they're not thinking of the rest of the world or the countries that they are in charge of. These millions of people. It's just about
It's their
them.
I feel really sad for the North Korean people, actually.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
do
'cause-
too.
And the South Korean people,
Well,
because
yeah.
because if anything happens to North Korea, they're gonna get it too, because they're like smack on top of each other.
Yeah.
And all of us, because he didn't win the popularity vote. So, I mean, there's a lot of people who didn't, actually vote for him. But I saw this really great cartoon, and I can't remember if it was a New Yorker, but it was both of them facing each other. And instead of penises, they each had rocket missiles. Like, did y'all see that?
I
It is
saw
like
that.
the greatest thing in the whole wide world.
There's another one where a missile's falling and Trump is watching over a balcony and someone says, we have someone in the military that could blow that out of the sky, but he's transgender.
oh my God, are you
is
serious?
good.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta find that.
That
It's
is
a
good.
really great little
Ooh, if
little
anybody
photo.
that's watching can find that, can you post like a link to it? Because I totally.
I love
Well,
it.
I
when I
love
was
it.
when I was researching this story, it turns out that Kim Jong-un has really, this is a typical thing for him. When there's a new president, he tests missiles. So it's sort of like him showing a little oomph, and it never went further than that. And this is the first time that the U.S. has responded like this. So now it's getting a little out of hand.
Well,
he-
do you
he's
realize that I'm sorry. Do you realize that we're still at war with them technically from the Korean War way back
Yeah.
when? It was never stopped.
He's also inherited this from his father and from his grandfather.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
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 Kim Jong Il and Kim
yeah.
Jong
Dildo.
Dildo.
That's what I was going
Kim
to
Jong
say.
Sick. No.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
because it was inherited, and you can tell because Kim Jong Un really he doesn't look like, he's not a leadership type of person. Just everything about him is very like what's his name, the new Darth Vader from Force Awakens, sort of like punk. Like they're trying to be Darth Vader, but they're what's his name? But they're Kylo Ren instead, which is kind of like a little bit of a punk. But unfortunately, they are in charge of a lot of things and in charge of a lot of people in an entire country. So what should happen from here? Because it's
China should really crack down on their ass big time. Because
their ass?
Well, here's the thing: is you have to remember that China doesn't really want to have a democracy right next door, because they're like right up against China. So they really don't want a democracy type regime change there. So China needs to do a little bit more than what they've done, I think.
okay.
And our end, I think we just need to impeach the fucker.
Yeah.
Trump. Yeah.
Well, there
I
you
think,
go.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
Well, and until then, I'm just wondering, because this is like a daily thing. It's probably like happening. Like there's something that's being done
Right
from
now.
right now from North Korea or from us. What needs to happen like today? Because I'm hoping he does get impeached. But until then, what should he respond? Should he shut up? Should he stop tweeting? What should he do? Because Kim Jong-un's not going to stop. He's just going to keep
He's
going.
not.
Yeah.
He's pushing buttons.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think that we should attack them first. Unfortunately,
Do you think we-
a preemptive strike would not be wise, because then you'd always sit there and think, well, what if they didn't and we jumped the gun and did that? The world is already kind of teetering on supporting us because of Trump in a lot of ways, anyways.
Now, didn't they just
So-
discover that, North Korea just not discovered, but their missile now, the front of it, you can actually put a nuclear weapon in there
Yes.
to get a larger
Yes.
area when it hits. And with the distance that those missiles are flying now, it could reach Texas now.
Yeah,
I believe it.
yeah.
It's going to your door, right?
I'm just wondering if they were, where would they? I hate thinking of this, but where would they shoot? because they
It
would
would
want to
be really,
cause damage, right?
The whole
I mean,
Guam thing is perplexing to me because it's sort of like if they are going to provocate us and they're going to bomb us, why would they bomb Guam? There's 160,000 people there.
It's our military base.
I was going to say that's
it's our
heavily
military
base.
Yeah, and I feel like that's, when people look at our country, they think military
But
is
we
at the
would
heart
wipe them
of,
off the planet.
Well,
They would get one little island with 160,000 people.
Well, I don't know.
But-
Trump
and
is
we'd wipe
pushing
them
out
off the planet.
transgenders out of the military, which is cutting out like a fraction of people who want to serve.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know if it's all talk. Like, can we actually back up if something were to happen?
Right.
Because he's already pissed off. The Navy general. Like, he's pissed off so many people in the military,
Right.
and so many people who I'm sure are called and are serving are kind of questioning.
Well,
More so than any other president.
he's an anti-establishment president. He said that whenever he was going in, that he was going to buck any traditions and trends and go in and do his own thing. And
Right.
and that's very much a chaos buster for the government
Well,
right now.
Well, Chaselin, what you were saying about, like if they fired one at us, we would pretty much destroy their whole country.
Yeah.
That is true. But if that were to happen, just imagine that means the USA has such a small, what am I trying to say? Like the importance of their people that we are going to, destroy their country. Now imagine what's going to happen to the rest of the world against us for doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to start such a domino effect. It's so scary to even think about.
Well, you have China that's there. You have Japan. You also have Russia. They all have interests with North Korea. So it can really be a very bad thing.
And then on top of everything else, we have the preacher, whatever he is, Robert Jeffress, here from Dallas, chiming in on it as well from the church because God is
Giving
okay
him
with
the
all of
right
this.
to do
Yeah,
that,
and so we're going to talk about that and this whatever happened to the separation of church and state because it doesn't seem to be happening at all. No separation whatsoever. We're going to talk about that as soon as we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Wait.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Don't Panic. For those of you who are just now joining the show, I'm going to have my guests reintroduce themselves and what they do.
I'm Chaselyn Wade, and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist.
I'm Glenn Franklin, local filmmaker.
And I'm Brandy Marsky, and I piss people off.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Is a great profession.
Speaking of pissing people off, we were talking about the Trump administration and then what's going on with North Korea, and then how our own Robert Jeffress from the First Baptist Church in downtown Dallas, he is now chiming in pretty much saying that God is okay with all of this, with us bombing them and standing up to them and doing all these things. And of course, I think to myself, what happened to church, the separation of church and state, where there's the law, there's government, and then there's the belief system, the church, the religion. And in the Constitution, it says separation of the two. It's not happening. Why is it being allowed to continue?
Like, I wonder if we feel it more because we're in Texas. I wonder, as residents in a state that is very highly religious, if we tend to feel it more than, say, like a state of California or Florida. So I'm really curious as to how this discussion would be if, like, we were Californians. Like, would we be even having this discussion, or is it because we come from such a religious, Christian, heavy Republican,
we're in the Bible Belt.
We're the Bible Belt kind of thing. If that's why we feel it more in the state of Texas as opposed to like any other countries in the United States.
Well, I know, when I moved to San Francisco, I was there for 3 years, and I remember one of the first things that I realized was, wow, there isn't a church on every corner.
Yeah.
There aren't billboards that say Jesus saves. It's a Southern thing, and I didn't get it until I moved over there.
There's not crosses like along the sideway with like the number of abortion, all of that. Yeah.
Right.
There's nothing like that in other states.
Yeah. So why is that allowed so much? Like, why aren't there people, let's just say like us, who, we may be religious, we may be Christian, we may be whatever we are, but we don't, we should, why aren't more people like us going out there saying this should not happen? And, or are we?
Because we're not pissed off quite enough yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more. There's more to that. As far as being pissed off about it, you have to get somebody who leads the charge against them, and you have to have a Congress that will actually enforce the rule. And they're not going to do that because there's a Republican Congress, and they want that.
Yeah, because I get when it comes to the marketing, or in this case, when Trump won, he would throw out, God this and our country and our God, and that I'm sure had people vote for him. Mm-hmm. So I kind of get it that they're sort of feeding into their, what's the word? They're not their congregation, but their
bigotry.
Their their constituents that may be bigots,
Yeah.
and so it's maybe working for them. But should it be allowed to be just like so prevalent and like so in your face?
Well, there's talk of a new amendment allowing it again, allowing the separation of church and state to go away. And that's one of the things that Trump has been talking about as well. Some of the Congress has been as well.
That would be scary because people could then say, oh, God told me that this is okay, so I'm going to chop up my kids.
Which leaves it up to subjectivity. I was like, do you want your government to be always subjective? Even though the courts are subjective, it's still like, oh, well, I can kill my sister because I think she's a whore,
right,
or something like that.
It's like The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of movies and about like this apocalypse, it brings me to my next subject, which is, there are a lot of end of the world films. And I'm just wondering, what are your favorites and why? Because I know I already have a handful that I can throw out. What are some?
I love San Andreas with The Rock. I liked that one.
Do you like the movie, or is it because it's The Rock?
I like the beginning of it, but I was like, it was so cheesy at the end.
Of course.
It was,
Yeah.
but it's.
Could you say it and not spoil the movie, or would it spoil the movie? The end.
It's yeah, kind of.
Because he does he save the world?
well,
I haven't seen it.
They do
the
some
flag
pretty. They do
behind
some pretty
him.
amazing stuff, and
He shows his rocks.
Yeah.
So San Andreas, and that's an earthquake film, right?
It's
Yeah.
an earthquake film.
Okay,
It's not the end
that's
of the
good,
world,
but
but
it's a
insane.
disaster
difference.
film.
It's a disaster.
Yeah,
film. What
yeah,
about
it's a
you,
disaster
Glenn?
film.
Ugh, disaster film. I still like Mad Max.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
apocalypse.
Apocalyptic
Old school.
Yeah.
stuff. The old school Mad Max, not
Yeah.
necessarily a new one.
Yeah.
Although I thought that was pretty good.
The one with
Yeah.
Charlize that just came
Yeah,
out a
that
couple
was
years
pretty
ago.
good.
Woo,
Yeah.
love it.
that was
love
that was
it.
pretty good.
Brandy, what about you?
Well, I love The Handmaid's Tale for obvious reasons, just because I feel like that's could be our future, the Gilead whole thing if we keep going in this way. So as far as TV shows, that. But I really love Independence Day because
that's what I was thinking.
I really feel like, here we are fighting amongst ourselves and something, the aliens are just going to come and they're going to attack us and we're just going to be like, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. Like everybody's worried about the throne and Cersei and the Starks and the Targaryens, but here are the White Walkers over there that can obliterate the whole world. So that's kind of why I like Independence Day. I'm kind of hoping
until the dragon
aliens...
glass comes.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I've been hearing a lot. I know I've never watched an
No
episode.
spoilers.
What?
This season.
Israel.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person.
Oh, wait, you like that.
I watched all seasons in like 1 month.
Yeah.
Oh my!
That's how addictive it was.
It's
7 seasons.
7
wow.
Let's
And
just
this
cut
is
this
it.
show short right now.
And I am planning on watching it, but The Handmaid's Tale, I've heard great things about it. I haven't started watching it, but I
amazing.
am.
Creepy.
It's amazing. And I read
Yeah?
the book.
So realistic, it's creepy.
I read the book before the show, like, 10 years, before the show came out. And they had made other movies, but it had never been as good. And I think it's the mixture of the timing and the subject matter is just too perfect.
Okay.
It's too perfect right
Okay,
now.
you've sold me. I'm going to watch it. Another sort of end of the world film is the original and I guess the remake of Red Dawn. Remember that?
Oh,
I do remember
yeah.
that.
It came out when I was a kid. I think I was in junior high, and it scared the crap out of me because it was so realistic. It was pretty much the Russians coming over and finally attacking us, and it was all high school kids. C. Thomas Howell, Patrick Swayze, Ralph Macchio was in it. Ali Sheedy. Yeah, it was, and they were just high school kids because you put yourself in their place and you're like, what are they going to do to help survive? So they drive up to the mountains to survive, and it scared me so much. So that's been one of my favorites.
War Games,
yes.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick.
Yes, yeah.
And Ali Sheedy. That was a Steven Spielberg film.
That was
Wasn't
really?
Yeah.
I didn't
Dune?
know that.
Wasn't Dune?
Dune was more sci-fi.
more sci-fi, but it was post-apocalyptic.
It was post-apocalyptic. Yeah. I think the one that really started the post-apocalyptic genre was Mad Max.
Yeah.
Does
I
that
think
sound
so,
right?
yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, it started a new genre. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of new genre and apocalyptic,
Hang on. Da, da, da.
my film is a zombie apocalypse film, but with a twist. I incorporated faith-based and I incorporated rainbow community as well.
Of course you did. I love it.
And
Of course, zombies are after them.
yeah, well, for those of you who don't know what it's about, my elevator pitch here is there's been a zombie apocalypse in a small Texas town, and all of the survivors have barricaded themselves into an abandoned building. Then they realize they're half made up of the rainbow community, and the other half is Bible thumpers. And there you have it. So I'm really excited about it.
And hilarity ensues.
Exactly. And
you in it?
Chaselyn
Yes,
should
I
know
am.
because you're in
Yes,
it.
I'm in it.
Yeah. Chaselyn actually, her character of Nurse Connie Lingus.
Great name.
She's so stupid.
And it was funny when we were thinking of this character because Chase, you and I talked
Yeah.
about it, and you said, "Now, what kind of person is she?"
Yeah,
And-
so she's a little mix of Dolly Parton, Delta Burke, Marilyn Monroe, and Chrissy Snow from Three's Company.
Nice.
She's like really
Nice.
dumb
Nice.
and like just so good.
yeah, she has a kind heart, but she's just not very smart.
Not very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what has happened here this morning, I guess, is we went and shot the film, most of the film in Graham, Texas, which is about 2 hours west of the DFW area. My whole family lives out there. I have good friends that live out there. So there were a lot of really great people that helped us with locations, with donating meals.
Second film you've done there.
Second film.
Which is probably-
no, like 3.
Is it the third?
Yeah, 'cause
okay.
Deadbeat Club was
oh,
shot
yeah,
over there
that's true.
too.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so of course, now that we are just about to finish the edit, I wanted to screen it in Graham next month. And they responded this morning and said that they are not going to screen it because of the subject matter and because they are, quote, a strong Baptist community that they don't think that anyone would want to go and see it.
And that they were
Who
even
said
offended
that?
by the name itself. Didn't they say that in the statement?
Yeah,
That
even
they were
the name
actually-
itself would offend people. The people that responded were there's a drive-in called the Graham Drive-In Theater.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I wanted to screen it because it's like a drive-in midnight movie
Yeah.
kind of thing. And they said no.
And you know, as soon as I read the part about not liking the name, I really actually said like kicking zombie ass for Jesus.
Yeah, for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the ass part? Because I mean, is that the problem with the title?
I don't know because they did have the synopsis as well, because it says that
Yeah.
we would have to in a way kind of
Yeah.
work together with Bible thumpers and the gay
And I
community.
have
So
seen the film.
All of it?
Yes.
we had a test screening.
We had a test.
That we weren't invited to.
I was waiting for you.
I know Shannon
And
saw
I
it.
saw you there, Shannon,
can't give-
aka
Shannon
Rufus, aka
is
Nathan.
awesome.
I can't give much away, of course, but I will say I think that Israel did a really good job at being mostly impartial.
Okay.
Mostly. I would say
Okay.
mostly impartial.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd like to revisit that discussion once I see it.
Once it's
Yeah,
done.
same
I
here.
would love
Mostly
to revisit
impartial.
that discussion.
Thank you. Yeah, there was one person who attended the screening, and he came up to me afterwards and said, "This one scene between the transgender woman and the preacher, the preacher wins in that. Did you mean that? Did you write that?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "I was surprised. It didn't seem like a conversation that you would write because the preacher won,
Well,
and
I
it
mean,
was
but
me."
that's,
And I
but
was like,
that's
yeah.
reflective of our times now too.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you were saying, the separation of church and state, like the church is winning. I mean, if we look at everything on the grand scheme of
course.
things, the
Right.
church is winning.
The
So
church
what-
has always won.
Yeah, exactly. So what you've written is very true to life. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, you're not writing, Walt Disney happy fairy tale ending kind of movies.
Right.
So
But the
Yeah.
church is
Oh,
winning
why
because they're
not?
organized.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
That's
They're
also-
organized.
and they have a
They
lot
are
of money
organized.
and backers
Yeah,
as well.
they're
Yes.
organized
Yeah.
and they're very wealthy.
Well,
Wealthy and organized.
Well, we've been talking about this film. When we come back, because we have to cut to break, when we come back, we are going to show an exclusive clip from Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yay. And I think we had a question too. Yeah, I saw some.
Oh my gosh, that music is so dramatic. It
I know it's
just
the first time we can actually hear it.
I-
So it's like.
I kind of wanted that like to follow me like before I enter a room.
that music.
that would be a
Yeah,
wonderful
everywhere.
intro.
I'm gonna hire someone to carry a boombox before me. So.
Right.
And light.
And
lighting.
light.
Yeah, this is real important.
Attached to your glasses like this, so you can be lit perfectly no matter where you go, no matter what time of day, everything. I want to give a quick shout out to Kenny Ochoa, who is
Hi,
watching the
Kenny.
show.
Hey, Kenny.
Hi, Kenny.
Yeah, he plays Reuben in the film, who's a part of the congregation of the church in the film.
Oh, so they're part of the Jesus clan.
Yes, they are.
Oh, is it a clan?
Yes. And we also had a comment on a Facebook from Shannon who said, I think he was talking about the response to Robert Jeffress, who says, that he knows how does one truly know the will of God for the current events? Exactly. According to Robert Jeffress, he has him on speed dial. He can just call God whenever he wants to.
Just like Ellen DeGeneres, remember, like back in there, she's like, "Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah."
Yeah, I mean, because these preachers, I mean, do they truly believe that people believe that that's what's happening? Like they just have like a line
A
to
direct
God.
connection. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yes.
And people fall for it.
They need something to believe in.
Oh my gosh.
They fell for it forever. It's
Well,
the
you know
oldest business in the world.
And you know what? They can do that because the way that I choose to fight as a filmmaker is to make films that are going to give messages, that are going to fight back, that are going to give us a voice. And with saying that, I am really, really excited to show all of you a clip from Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus. I'll do a quick little setup for you. This is pretty much this is a young kid who is the son in the closet son of the preacher and the preacher's wife. And he has been taken in by Reuben and his wife, which are a part of the congregation, and they're in bed, and he's sleeping on the couch, waiting for the sunrise to come up so they can go and find the family. So this is just in the middle of the night. He's sleeping, and there you have it.
Get back! Don't shoot! I'll blow both of your heads off. Get back! Please, we're just looking for food. Well, I suggest you look elsewhere. Everything here is ours, and we don't have anything to spare.
You better head out soon, because they're heading this way, mister. A lot of them.
We've done fine so far.
So far. Trust us.
We started out as 8.
Could you please stop pointing the gun at us?
Where are they?
About a mile, maybe 2.
Maybe we should go.
Honey, hold on a second. Maybe these two just want our stuff. Take our shelter for themselves.
We had shelter. We were quiet and we were fine, but they want to feed. It's like dogs, they can smell you. They can smell meat. We ran into some others and took them in as well, but they found us. They're slow, but they're strong when they group together. We ran out the back and got away. Now we've come here. We didn't know it was occupied.
Well, it is. So now what?
We're gonna keep moving, I guess. I suggest you do the same.
Yeah, get him some water.
Thanks.
Come on.
The music.
Put it back on.
Thank you. What, you were commenting on the music?
Yes, the music's so creepy.
Great music.
Thank you very much. You know, when I was choosing the music for the film, I had a specific movie in mind because I'm all about late 70s, early 80s grindhouse films.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And there was a movie that I saw.
Hello?
Remember the Amityville Horror?
Yes, that was
Okay, so Amityville 2, The Possession, is super creepy, and the music was like really, I mean, trebly and harsh and lots of strings and really thin sounding.
Yeah.
I wanted that for this
Yeah.
movie. So that's how
Yeah,
so
it's really
thank you. It
good.
means
Good
a lot.
choice. Good
Yeah.
choice.
So what do you think so far?
It looks great.
Sucks. I'm just kidding. Yeah, great job.
There's always one naysayer.
There's always one naysayer, but good job.
Yeah,
Good
it looks
job.
great.
Thank you. I'm getting really excited for the screening because we are going to not only screen Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus, we are going to screen 2 other films that are locally shot films. One of them is Shannon's film. It's called The Devil's Chain. Wait, The Devil's Chain or just Devil's Chain? The Devil's Chain. We're going to premiere it that night. Well, it's sort of kind of premiered already at an event, but not really. This one is going to be really the premiere.
Nice.
And then after that, we're going to have another screening from the writer and producer named Angel Rose Marquez, who is also transgender. She is, we are screening her film called Lesbian Strippers from Hell.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we are representing.
I love it. So when you premiere, y'all gonna have you gonna do a Q&A so the audience can ask questions?
Yes,
or-
we are. You know, Willem Belli
Okay.
is the lead of Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus. She plays Beth Ann Fetterman. And she is. We are flying her in to be there for the premiere. So we're going to have a big Q&A afterwards, and we'll probably like get some posters made, sell posters, get them all signed from the whole cast and crew.
Is it going to be here?
It's going to be at the Texas Theater, August 28th, starting at 7:30.
And when do tickets go on sale?
Next Wednesday, you can start getting advanced tickets.
Yay.
And it's going to be $15 to get in, but if you dress up as a zombie, you get in for 10.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes.
Now, what happens if you sell out?
Oh my God. Okay, so if we sell out, that would be amazing because the theater holds like 640 people.
Let's sell this fucker out.
Yeah. Let's,
Yeah.
I have 2 dresses I need to wear. 2 premieres.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah. So I was just curious. You know, with this element of bringing the rainbow. By the way, I keep saying rainbow community because I am really, really campaigning to start using this phrase. I haven't even told you yet, but like for Gay Pride weekend, I am planning on making T-shirts that are going to say I am a part of the rainbow community,
Oh,
and I'm going to
I'll
be giving
sport
them
one.
away.
I'll support
Very
it for
inventive. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when can we announce what's happening possibly?
you. We will maybe next week.
Okay.
Maybe
all right.
next week.
Because
So
I'm hoping
let's
we can
keep-
all wear these
I would totally be down
shirts.
for that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I need mine in advance so I can rhinestone the fucker.
Oh.
Yeah.
Must have bling.
Yeah, and I want to create my own flag with it too. You know?
Ooh, yes, we're gonna do that. Yes, but I'm going to start using rainbow community instead of LGBTQI because it's a little ridiculous for me to just keep adding, trying to be super politically correct by adding the proper letters because you never know. Maybe yesterday a new one was officially added that I don't know about.
And that also includes straight people. If
What?
you think about it. The rainbow community.
Yeah, but they really don't.
Well, straight supporters.
Straight
And
supporters, that's what I'm saying.
Allies.
Allies,
Yeah.
yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
Athletic supporters.
Yeah.
But we did
That's
a
my
really
favorite.
great show. If you're really interested in the history and the reasoning why, last week on Don't Panic, we did a really great show, and Israel went into detail as to why he wanted to change it, and some really good stuff. It's probably one of my favorite shows that I've been on, so definitely check that out. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's the one that that was aired last week. Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, it's all about the term LGBTQIA, right? That's
Yes.
what it is now.
It's grown from.
And then there's a plus sign and an asterisk as well.
Keeps growing.
You're
and
kidding.
growing.
No, yeah, I think that's
pretty
what
soon it'll be
Daniel
the
was
whole
saying.
alphabet.
Well, I know. Well, that's what we were talking
Tammy calls
about.
it the alphabet soup, which is like the greatest
Well,
thing.
that's what I've heard the AIDS is, the alphabet soup. That's what a term that I heard.
I've never heard that.
I was-
Alphabets.
Have
a
you?
friend of mine called it the alphabet soup. So I
I've
don't know.
never heard that. Have
Do you
heard
mean
that?
LGBTQ?
No,
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 he
no,
means
no.
like AIDS,
For
HIV/AIDS.
HIV/AIDS, they would call it the alphabet soup.
I don't
So,
understand.
I don't know either. I just was saying what it was.
If you're the friend that said that, please comment on the link.
Okay. All right.
Looking now.
Yeah, because I'm not exactly sure what that is.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, I really do want to start using that term. So I forgot what I was saying about
Rainbow
that.
community.
And
rain-
T-shirts. You're going to be giving away T-shirts. at
Oh
Pride.
yeah, T-shirts. Yeah, we'll be giving away T-shirts. Maybe depending on how much they are to make, we might charge a little bit or something. But I really do hope that it catches on, and I'm going to push Tammy and everybody everybody at the Dallas Voice to help me with this, whether it's an article being written or what, because I really do think that it is a better term than LGBTQIA. I really
I'm
do.
definitely down for going back and forth between that and queer.
Yeah. Oh,
Hands
yeah,
down.
that's
What
right.
Yeah.
is the I and the A? I'm sorry. Allies is
Intersex and asexual?
Yeah, and I thought the A was allies for a long time. But yeah, no, I think it is asexual. I think you're right. Because I remember,
And asexual means you're not sexual
Yeah,
at
you're
all.
just asexual. You're
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
And because since that's not heterosexual, it is included in the rainbow
because
community.
it's no it's just yourself.
Got
okay.
A.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Excellent. Well, guys, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, guess what? It's the return of Poker Face. We are going to do that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Poker face.
Yes. Who's gonna do it this time?
Everyone, welcome back to Don't Panic. Before we cut to break, we were talking about all kinds of stuff, and I was happy to announce that we are doing my favorite segment that began with Brandy.
Yes.
It's called Poker Face, and the way it's done. Oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and do the little intro, Shannon. Now, how you play is we're going to choose Glenn to do it this time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So this is all you do, because you're an actor.
Okay.
All you do is you are going to read this actual news article,
Okay.
straight-faced, poker face.
There you go.
You cannot react. You cannot smile. You cannot laugh. You can pause if you need to.
He's got his game face on already.
He's already started.
He's already starting, yeah.
And if you can read the whole thing and not break, you win.
I win? What do I win?
Israel's pants.
Bragging.
I don't want that. I lost.
You win something. All right?
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Remember? Okay. No more, no smiles. All right. Go ahead. This is an actual. Now we can react all we want to. Go for it.
Police made a routine traffic stop early Thursday morning and got more than they bargained for when Roy Tilbot, 51, stepped out of his El Camino for a field sobriety test, and Casper police noticed several eyeballs slide from his right pant leg onto the road. Feeling they could have a potential murderer on their hands, police quickly drew guns and cuffed Tilbot. Tilbot assured police the eyeballs were not human, but instead cow eyeballs he had taken from Johnson Meats, a slaughterhouse, where Tilbot is employed as a butcher. The company won't let us take animal scraps home and instead toss them in the landfill. Tilbot said in a police report, "They're a very wasteful company. We should be allowed to take scrap meat and their other parts home. They don't even have recycling at the plant." Tilbot continued by saying, "I enjoy eating bovine eyeballs. Smuggling them out in my colon was the only way I knew how to get them without potentially getting caught and fired."
Smuggling them out in colon.
Tilbot told police he estimates he has smuggled several thousand eyeballs from the plant over the past few months. I put them Shit, I lost.
Go ahead and finish it.
Okay. Tilbot told police he estimates he has smuggled several thousand eyeballs from the plant over the past few months. "I put them in soups," Tilbot said in a police report. "They're beneficial for erectile dysfunction, which I currently battle. But I also just like the texture and taste." Tilbot has not been charged with theft, as police need to further investigate to determine who the knives belong to. Police are also unsure whether to charge Tilbot with their theft for the bovine eyeballs. They are waiting to talk with Tilbot's employer first.
He puts them in more than just his soup.
Good job, Kelly.
I tried.
Yeah.
It was up to you.
I know. I heard Israel chuckling, and I was like, that broke me too. Yeah.
Awful.
You sound like an old viejita. You know that?
The moment he said colon, I'm like, oh my God, he's about to bust. Watch, because it's going to get worse from here.
Well, you know me and farts. So my movie has a lot of them.
Oh my gosh, that is true. Yeah, because you have you have something coming up tomorrow.
Yes. It's one tonight and one tomorrow. Tonight we are doing the Fort Worth Funky Town Film Festival, where both...
That's a lot of F's.
Yes, it is a little alliteration. But both Shannon Houck and I did a short film this summer called Rio Currents. It's about an alcoholic's elliptical mind where it just keeps going in a circle.
Sounds like my Friday night.
Yeah, but it's really good. We did that, and then this was done with Endeavor Cinema Group. And they're starting at 6, and it'll probably go to about 10 o'clock. Then tomorrow, the Bedford Short Film Series, it's our second one, and we're having 14 films, short films, as well as one is a 30-minute film. But we are showing them, and it was only $5 to enter, or $6.75 to enter with a credit card fee.
And 75 cents.
And 75, that was it. But it's a lot of fun, and it helps the artist community over in Bedford. It's called Central Arts of Bedford, and it helps people with supplies and bunch of the canvases and stuff like that, which I really love. And if we do really well at this one, you have a big audience tomorrow. On the third one, they're talking about putting us into the movie tavern over in Bedford. So.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, especially because it's in Bedford, you wouldn't normally think, that there's this big fundraiser in Bedford, Texas,
I love that. And I think, we as individuals really need to support the arts in our communities, because there's so much thriving artists here in the DFW and around surrounding areas. And that's how much is it to get in?
It's $6.75.
And you get to see like these up and coming rising stars and support, a great community and help artists make art and piss people off.
Yes.
Like Israel.
People off.
Yeah.
That's important. It's important. The expression is important, especially now with everything that's going on, it's even more important that we express ourselves artistically.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't have that taken away from us
No.
because, because of everything going on with the current administration, no telling what other new rights they're
Kinda
going to try to
gag
get rid
rules,
of.
exactly.
Because one of the first things that they usually do, like in schools, is to take away the arts program.
And they've already started, the defunding of PBS and everything that they're,
Yeah.
You're
It's
kidding,
already-
PBS,
they're-
really?
I
You didn't know
believe.
that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're getting rid of Big Bird.
Yeah, like they've tried to defund that for a long time, but they keep coming. But like he's taken little jabs at the arts already.
Yeah. They don't understand how much art has an impact on people as they grow, and then they do really amazing things because they had an art class, because they had band practice, because they had all of these things.
Especially marginalized communities. That's a way of working through and healing our issues and working through our demons through our art and having a social, like a commentary with the mainstream, culture through our art. And it's extremely important, if you're queer, race, gender, it's important.
Yeah.
Well, we never learn from our mistakes. Back during Hitler's time, the first thing that they did was get rid of the gay art. They stole it from them and then imprisoned the ones over there. It was called Entartige de Kunst. And it sounds very kinky. But the thing is they stole all their art and put them in the concentration camps. And then it was auctioned off to several different German soldiers over there and people of higher ups. And then finally, at the end, when the war was over, they were able to recover it. But it also took years. And it's... that's the first thing whenever you have somebody like this in here, they attack the arts.
Yeah.
I just remembered one of my other favorite apocalyptic movies, V for Vendetta. Like,
Yes,
I
love
love that movie. And it made me think of that when you said about the art, because in his cave, he had all the art stuff that the government took away. Like, he had it all underground. Love that movie. Another one that's perfect timing for.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And I there was a quote, I might be misquoting it, but they said something like, you take away a certain people's art and you take away their culture because everything is expressed. I mean, how do you know
Yeah.
that culture exists unless it's
Exactly.
expressed through art? So
Exactly.
it's really important to support events like this, to not be afraid to express yourself through music, through film, through whatever it is, dance.
Writing,
Yes.
anything, makeup,
I mean, I definitely wouldn't have a career that
Yeah.
I have right now if it hadn't been for my art classes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Well, guys, we have to take our last break, and when we come back, we are going to close out the show. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Everyone, welcome back. We have to close out the show, so I'm going to give the microphone to my guests so they can promote themselves and what's going on. Chaselyn, you first.
Let's see. So, of course, I have the premiere coming up later this month.
The 28th.
The 28th. And then also, at the end of next month, I'll start doing another short film called Beaver. And we're
family film?
Yes, I believe it's a family
Sounds
film.
like a family film. Yeah.
And I'll be doing hair
very
makeup.
moist.
Right. I'll be doing hair, makeup, and wardrobe for that, as well as an acting role, supposedly.
Yes.
Which I think this role is going to be really interesting for me, from what I understand.
Yes.
It's a little different than Connie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I am doing the Stair #2, and it's a comedy western. It's be really fun. Tonight's thing, just to let you know, is called the Summer Series Filmmakers Workshop Red Carpet Premiere. I say that really fast. It's at Tarrant County College, the Trinity River campus. It's at 300 Trinity Campus Circle in Fort Worth, and that's hosted by Endeavor Cinema. And then tomorrow is at the Central Arts of Bedford. It's 2816 Central Drive, Suite 140 in Bedford, Texas, 76021. Would love to have you at 7 p.m.
Nice. Yay. Brandy Mars Sky, you can find me at brandymarsky.com and send me good juju because I'm submitting a book proposal called The Art of Drag. It's going to be a hybrid book between drag history and all the subcultures and an actual like photo coffee picture book. So it's going to be all inclusive of all drag. So send good juju my way.
Big juju goes your way.
Excellent. And guys, I am Israel Luna. I am here at Spayse Studios, Spayse. If you would like your own show, just email us at spacestudios@gmail.com and just go to spacestudios.com to see our website. And with that, I want to say, I want to say thank you to my guests for joining me.
Thank you,
Israel.
Israel.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome. And we are here every Friday at 3 o'clock. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.